Which shoe is better to hoop in? The Under Armour FUTR X or the Under Armour FUTR X2? Let's find out. Welcome back to our channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the first two shoes to release from this FUTR X line with Under Armour. I actually tested out the ones last year, and I had no idea they'd be coming out with the second model until they recently dropped. But starting off with some of the basic info before we move on to more of the performance side, the FUTR X is going to retail for $120. That puts it pretty middle of the pack, and I guess the second release actually kept the same retail price, staying at $120. So I mean, not expensive but not super cheap, but I mean, two honestly pretty nice looking models. I do like the ones a little bit more though. I think like the strap of course was the first thing to catch my eye, and that metallic gold lining, it kind of outlines the midsole too. I think it's a pretty cool setup there. Now on the inner side of the midsole you get some UA flow text. I'll actually get more into that in a second, but the heel is going to get a small Under Armour logo to go along with that. So I mean, it is pretty simple, but honestly I like it. Then aside from the strap being taken off of this year's FUTR X2s, there's still a lot of the same ideas kind of going on here. You're going to have that same flow text on the midsole, but actually these are going to have it on the outside part of it, so that makes it a little bit more visible. I honestly wish that the ones did that. And the midsole is a little bit more broken up on these. It's kind of like a wing type look. It's going to be similar to like the Dame 7s in my opinion. And then around the ankle you're going to get some bigger Under Armour logos. To be honest, I don't really love that spot, but the tongue does have the model name kind of marked out on there. You get more of a basic look on the FUTR X1 for the tongue setup. So I mean, definitely some things to like about each shoe, potentially, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to like the look of each model, but now let's go ahead and see how they play. So now getting into more of the materials and the performance side, and starting off with the cushioning. Before I get into the tech specs and talk a little bit more about how these play, I just want to let you know now that the FUTR X and the FUTR X2s have a lot of the same things being used within these models, and that does lead to a mostly similar feel. But with that being said, both of these are going to get the same UA Flow cushioning technology that is meant to be super light and bouncy. And this UA Flow foam has been kind of a mystery to me so far. I personally tested them out in 4 different shoes. I had it was in the Curry 8s and the 9s, and then now we got the FUTR X1s and the FUTR X2s. And of these 4 models, it only felt soft and bouncy in the Curry 8s. Between these shoes here, I'd have to say it's going to fall on the more responsive side compared to being a softer feel like the Curry 8s. Whenever I was testing out the FUTR X a year ago, I didn't get a super cushioned feel on the court, but I mean, with such a light shoe and some other nice features that they had, I don't know, I just thought that maybe that was a one-off and they would make some tweaks to kind of soften that up. But I will say the FUTR X2 pretty much, it plays the exact same. Even just walking around and jumping with one shoe on each foot, it's an identical feel, which I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise. It is the same stuff being used in this shoe. I guess I was kind of just hoping for a little bit of a softer feel, because that is what I tend to prefer on the court. But these models are going to be a little bit more stiff from the beginning, so you are going to want to break them in first before you just go out and start playing in them immediately. And it could be a combination of things, but whenever we did our durometer test just to check the firmness of the midsole, the FUTR X was actually reading at 27, and that is pretty soft. And the foam does feel soft there. I mean, I wasn't surprised, but what really threw me off was the FUTR X2 reading at a 38.5, which is still around the average for what I've seen from other basketball shoes. It's just weird that it's going to be a little bit higher, especially because, I mean, honestly, if anything, it does feel slightly more padded in the heel of the 2s. Just not enough to really call it a difference. So, I mean, these are going to stick up pretty much the same for this cushioning section. I wouldn't really say that one shoe plays better than the other. For the materials and the support, this is probably the section where these shoes are the most different, and it's still not by a lot. The FUTR X is going to be split down the middle, with the front of the shoe being, more of a breathable mesh material, and the back half is going to be filled in, kind of giving you more of a plush feel. I think Under Armour calls it a Perf X open cell sock liner or something like that, just to give you better compression. Then the FUTR X2 is going to be different, but also similar. You are going to have that same kind of split down the middle with the lightweight mesh upper in the front, and then you're going to have a TPE blend sock liner in the back. And the mesh on the FUTR X2, it definitely does feel a little bit more durable. The texture is just more rough compared to a softer feel on the FUTR X1s. But both of these shoes are going to get a midfoot band to help with support. They just get it in different ways. So the FUTR X, I mean, clearly has that strap running across the lacing system just to kind of help with the containment. And the FUTR X2 is going to get the same idea. It's just less visible. And I say less because it's not invisible, because you can't actually see that midfoot band running underneath the upper. And it is kind of tied into those blue lace loops in the lacing system. And that piece is just there to provide the same lockdown and the support that the ones are going to get. And I haven't actually hit on this yet, but I mean, it's really great to see these shoes kind of get some extra support features, because these models are really light. The Future X weighs 382 grams for size 10.5. And then the Future X2's got even lighter, weighing 356 grams for the same size. So I mean, it is always nice to see like on lighter shoes that you get something like additional on there just to ensure that your foot isn't sliding around. And both of these shoes get that, so nothing to worry about there. To finish off with traction, we are right back where we started, just seeing the same exact design. Both shoes are going to get a durable UA flow outsole that's meant to provide better feel so you can cut, stop, and start faster than ever before. And I'll address the durable part first. Like maybe Under Armour meant like durable for indoors. I wouldn't really recommend using these outdoors. Like the foam does feel pretty soft, so it won't hold up for long. Plus the cushion like doesn't do a great job with impact protection on a harder surface from what I felt. But I mean, I really do like the pattern and everything like this. They get the same one, they play the exact same, and that is in a category of amazing. Like referencing back to the cushioning section where I talked a little bit more about the Curry 8s and the 9s, those had the same exact outsole, same pattern and all. And I mean, the UA Flow outsole has had some of the best grip that I felt on a traction or on a shoe line like in a minute. Like these just grip the court so well. The Future X models haven't had any issues with slipping or anything like that, and they do collect a little bit of dust, but honestly it hasn't been too bad for me. The traction is definitely the strong point of these shoes. I guess that and probably them like also being super light. But to finish off with sizing, I did go true to size on both, and I like the way they fit. Like they are a little bit snug, so if you do like extra room to play in, I'd maybe test out going half size up. So for the final ratings and starting off with the appearance, like I said, I mean personally I do like both of these models, but I do like the visible strap a little bit more than just having the hidden strap on there. So I'm going to start off with the Future X. But I mean, from here, it's going to, turn into a similar breakdown of the Air Jordan 36 versus the Jordan 36 Low that I just did recently. I mean, in reality, Under Armour pretty much didn't change a single thing other than the look between these shoes. The cushion is going to be a tie because you get the same flow foam setup. I honestly was hoping for the 2s to play a little bit softer like the Curry 8s did, but no dice there. But as for the materials, same mesh upper and super light model, so I'm going to go tie again. And then for the support, you get a lot of the same features, like the band is just going to be underneath in the 2s compared to being on top for the Future X, so we'll go with the tie. And then if you can believe it, the traction is going to be a tie right there along with the other categories. That is going to lead to me going with a dead tie between these models for performance. I mean, let's see here. Same price, nearly the same exact weight, same materials on the board, all the way across it. Like, this is kind of like the outcome that you would expect. If you're torn between like these two models, I'd honestly just pick the one that you like the look of better. But I mean, in all seriousness, this is not a bad performing line at all. Like the highlight's easily going to be the traction and the weight just being super light. But I mean, you're going to have a breathable shoe with some nice support features. I will say that if your foot responds better to like playing in softer shoes, I'd maybe try a different model than these two that we have here. But I mean, other than that, I have liked the way that the Future X line started off with Under Armour so far. Thank you guys for taking some time to watch. Feel free to drop a follow or subscribe wherever you're watching, and give this video a like if you like the video, of course. And if you're interested in buying the Under Armour Future X2 and you want to support our channel, just click the link that we have here on screen, or we have links for both shoes down below or in our bio, so feel free to check that out. But until next review, I'm Landon from Shoewear. Peace.